Hello and welcome to 52 Weeks. This week we'll be starting Chapter 7, which is focusing in on utilities. So this segment will be providing a lot of base information to understand the current situation in utilities and potential future outcomes that we could plan for. Utilities provide services that permit modern life to occur. This is in the areas of power, communication, water, and waste removal. In the introduction, the comp plan states, provision of plentiful, potable water and effective sewerage for urban populations has been the hallmark of capable government for millennia, although contemporary citizens might claim that they cannot live without high-speed internet connection. As in other chapters, the plan goes back to the Manning Plan. Back in the 1900s, the Manning Plan sought to provide a system that accommodated peak population of almost 100,000 people. So it looked at integrating systems and pulling them together as one entity. This is a big issue now that we're dealing with in a combined system of stormwater and wastewater in Harrisburg, and other cities have this issue as well. Quote from the comp plan, again looking back at the Manning Plan, improved streetscapes are byproducts of waterway conservation with the burial of water and sewer main utilities. Harrisburg is well served to recall this integrated approach, combining utility design and landscape improvement as infrastructure is planned for new development areas. This is critical within the process of going into small area plans and understanding how neighborhoods work. We can begin to look at districts and actually sub-neighborhoods within these larger groups and how they're networked together as a grid. If we look at a locally based system as a kind of a mesh grid of connectivity, then we have a larger resilience to any faults that happen in the system. Thinking of this as a network of computers. If a computer goes down, the entire network doesn't go down. So we can route all kinds of power communications. And in this case, it is more difficult with water and wastewater. But these are things to be thinking about within our systems that we set up. And added to that, we should be thinking about this in a sustainable way. And later in this segment, we'll be looking at how to get off the grid with sustainable practice in either power, energy, water usage, and looking at it from more collective process of blocks and neighborhoods. And this all focuses on the net zero energy grid or city. In the contemporary city, the mechanics of water distribution and sewer systems have changed little. The main change in water systems is a mandate to aggressively address stormwater management practices before stormwater reaches the sewerage system. And we're looking at overflows and how we mitigate flooding all around central PA in our state, as well as regionally and nationally. So this is a topic that's been very much in the forefront in issues of living along a river and dealing with flooding and looking at the impact and cost of flooding. This has more to do with the expanding stormwater management to site design practice than changes into the water or sewage system. So managing and dealing with this from a citywide approach is very important. That's something that the city has neglected for years, willfully knowing this for years, and only just addressing it lately. And sadly, I would say that even our region is behind when you look at other areas around Philly, the city of Philly and Pittsburgh and areas in the suburbs, understanding of water infiltration and permeability, as well as impervious surfaces. So we're only catching up in this, and the more parking lots we make, the more plazas, the more houses we build, all of this stuff, the impervious material is affecting our water. And if we don't understand that that's a loss on ourselves, what's going to hold us accountable is that we know this now. We know how to deal with this in technology and planning, and we have the materials to deal with it, and it's going to be our kids that call us on the carpet for not doing what is right. So 20 years from now, it's going to be looking at the politicians who didn't do this, just like we were calling politicians out 20 years ago that didn't do this here in Pennsylvania. And even further is back in 1972 and 74, the tropical storm Agnes came through. That was an issue. They looked at flooding and how to deal with the Susquehanna River. So all these things we know about. We know that they're going to become more frequent. These are things that we should plan for in our areas. In contrast, rapid evolution is occurring in the areas of communication technology and energy generation and distribution. For the period of the comprehensive plan, so starting back in 2015-16, the effect of changing communications technology on energy generation and distribution and transportation will be transformative to the life of the city. So here we're at a point where we should have been looking at all of this and using it as a transformation mechanism within our neighborhoods. And here's a quote from the comp plan that was future thinking back in 2016. Within a decade, the city should be near full conversion to smart grids, controlling energy use and distribution, and citywide 5G Wi-Fi, allowing the operation of driverless vehicles. I don't know if you've seen any of that around Harrisburg and Wi-Fi around the entire city. Other cities have done it. We're not there yet. It is sad to see where this is at, because we should be thinking about our renovations and what happens within our homes, that we're not just renovating homes individually, that there's some collective ideas of how they connect up on the blocks. It's our willingness to let go of past traditions. It's our willingness to try and work together, and how we can push beyond this individualism that we have, and also changing our thoughts on transactional living of properties, that we are related in the city and that we have connections with shared resources that we really need to be better stewards of. Case in point, every time I get someone stopping by asking for me to change to green energy, I keep asking them, provide a solution for low-income housing and also row housing that allows people to get off the grid with battery power and solar power. That's one step. So provide me a solution that is lightweight for roofs, so we don't have to deal with a structural change, and we package that up for all the residents around Harrisburg. Will that happen? I certainly hope so before my life is done, but I think that it takes a push against the utilities that run things around here, and we have to rethink our distribution methods. And we'll talk about that later with a net zero energy city. Continuing in that line, the change in communication services has transformative implications for transit and parking policy. New smart utilities will require coordinated design for operation integration, a very different approach from the traditional separate utilities. The city will play a much more effective role in coordinating utility design, construction, and maintenance if integrated smart utilities are used.